SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have news. And this is a desk, and it's a news desk. Yeah? Where news comes across my desk, and I read it.
It's a very unserious news desk.
Newsy, man.
I think it's closer to The Onion than CNN or New York Times or whatever news is
Maddie, ISO me.
these days.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Toronto Maple Leafs have won the Stanley Cup. Yeah! Woo! Never thought I'd get to say it, but here we are, baby. Woo! Oh, look at that. The general manager's right here. He's Jesse Blake.
There he is.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
He's a freaking GM. MVP GM. All kinds of letters.
No.
Let's go.
MVP's William Nylander, who won the Conn
That's
Smythe
right. Which, honestly, perfect. And also, the cup that doesn't matter, the Calder Cup, was also won by Jesse's.
Yeah.
No, I won.
I was there.
Cups.
Yeah.
I won the Calder Trophy and the Stanley Cup.
We're Jesse's hanger-on friends, like Entourage.
Yeah.
Shall we play the moment?
Let's play the moment, Jesse.
This is one of the greatest moments of my entire life. I want to start it with about a minute 33 left in the game while things are starting to happen and we think it's might actually happen.
The lead up is you go up 5-3. Minnesota brings themselves to within one.
Spurgeon's got it in the middle. So anybody listening.
Marner, Mitch.
We got a bull going.
Mitch, what are you doing?
Minute left. Mitch Marner tries to toe drag.
Toe drag the last minute to go.
What the hell are you doing?
That's two. That's
28 seconds.
You idiots, that's 2.
25.
Nice play by Matthews. Ladies and gentlemen, there's 20 seconds left. Come on.
20.
Dump.
The score's 5-4.
Oh.
For anybody not aware. 5-4.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. 5-4.
Pressure.
Third
10.
period.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Before we play the rest of the celebration, because it happened right at the buzzer and we just went into anarchy, we'll play the rest of it. Ilya Samsonov makes the save of his life.
The century.
The save of the franchise, literally at zeros to win the Stanley Cup. Because if this one-timer goes in, Minnesota ties it, we go to overtime. We know how the Leafs do it.
Who in the neutral zone goes for the enormous hit for no reason?
Is that Matthews?
34? Who's back?
Oh, no, I thought you meant the defenseman there. I don't know who you're talking about.
Here, look at this. Whoa!
Who is that? I missed that. My goodness.
I think it's Willie. No,
Willie's there. That's Willie.
It's the other defenseman.
Yeah. I don't know who was on the ice at the time. Might have been Brett Pesce.
Just death. Brett Pesce, who was an absolute liability for you.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Awful. But Marco Rossi just got the puck there. One timer. Watch the. Oh, hold on.
You stink.
There we go.
All right, here we go.
Watch this save.
Get wrecked, Zuccarello, you friggin' bum.
Oh my goodness.
Look at
This is to win the Stanley Cup.
Look at this. Matt's Chocarello. Oh!
He saves this.
Oh my God.
We couldn't have asked for an more incredible ending. Oh.
Wow.
So let's play the celebration after Sammy makes this save. 3.2 seconds on the clock. You can see it there. He makes this save to win the Stanley Cup. 3. We did it! Sammy at the buzzer!
There we go.
Grab people.
Man. Jesse Blake. After all this time, Jesse Blake is a Stanley Cup champion.
Nobody believed, but we believed in ourselves. Finally, for the first time since 1967, the Toronto Maple Leafs are lifting the cup, and William Nylander is the Conn Smythe Trophy winner.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Perfect. Cinematic. No notes. Don't shake his hand. Don't shake his hand. Check him. Check him. Push him down.
That's Steve telling the players to kick Batman as he brings out the cup.
The chat is going berserk
As they should! As they should! Here's Austin Matthews lifting the Stanley Cup for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Austin! Yes, Austin Matthews is our captain. We did trade John tomorrow.
Thank you.
Oh, Jesse, it's been a long road for you. How do you feel?
How do you feel? Because I know you were thinking about this all day yesterday.
Incredible. No, yeah, all yesterday I was planning the stream. I cut a little montage that I played off the top of the stream for people who weren't around for the whole thing. We went back and we looked at the previous seasons and how we did, and we had a little intro. And yeah, it was a lot of work doing this. We talked about this during the broadcast, but I've been playing that franchise mode sim since NHL 22 in 2021. Wow. It's literally been 3 years this build has been, and every time we've failed, we've played a lot of different iterations of this franchise mode. I was the Buffalo Sabres at one point, I was the Arizona Coyotes at another point, and then I was the Leafs for a couple different ones, and finally last night we did it. We won a Stanley Cup.
You're underselling this. How many shots at the Stanley Cup final have you had?
2.
Only 2.
That was number 2?
This was number 3.
You had 3 cracks at the Cup final.
Yeah.
And blew it spectacularly, if I remember correct.
One of them, I think we lost in 6, and I forget the other one. If this might have been only the second.
I think you went to Game 7 once.
Against Vegas, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one I remember. This might have been only the second time. I've done it so many times I can't really remember, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
That
Hell
is,
yeah.
It was one of the most fun streams I've ever been on. I really, I honestly, I drove to work yesterday. I was like, I'm not sure what to expect here. And I was super grumpy because I forgot my keys and I made the stream start late. So I felt really bad about it. And then,
for anybody who wasn't looking forward to the stream and there at 7:00, the stream didn't start at 7.
No, it started at 7:40.
And there was
that's squarely my fault.
There was a rumor in the chat that it was me who was late.
You could never. Nick, never.
I could never.
You could never.
I could never.
So what was amazing was there was a couple salty Edmonton fans in the chat who were like, "Oh, Leaf fans are so embarrassing," and I'm like, "Yo, you know what? This was the most fun, and if you can't enjoy this,
embarrassing for what?
Because we were simming a Stanley Cup, I guess."
Hey.
Yeah, but it's not like we just simmed it out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I've been doing this for a couple months now.
And your roster is shockingly thin.
No.
Oh my God.
You guys are so wrong about that. You're so wrong.
Who's your third line center, Jesse?
Noah Gregor. But it's not. This franchise mode sim exists in a different reality. It's not the Noah Gregor that is in real life. It is the Noah Gregor that exists in the Crab People reality.
What's your second line?
It is Sean Monahan,
Matthias Michelli,
and Kevin LeBanc.
You suck. Kevin LeBanc, who's an 87 overall.
Yeah.
How?
He had 2 goals.
Kevin LeBanc was so good these playoffs.
Oh my God. Who had the
You're
fifth
hating.
goal? That was Matthews. Matthews had the Stanley Cup winning goal.
Yeah, Matthews had the clinching goal. You guys are underplaying my defense.
Well, Brett Pesce, you would expect him to be better, but he had a bad game.
Brett Pesce had a terrible game.
Caden Gooley wasn't much better, but I think he's a double agent from the Habs. Right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Cam York's also there.
Cam York scored a goal.
Yeah. But we haven't even got to the highlight of the defense core.
Morgan Riley and the Mo's.
The Mo times 2 line or pairing. Morgan Riley and Mo Sider.
Yeah.
And that was good.
That's the reason we won right there. Plus the big dogs showing up. Matthews, Marner, and Nylander, our coach decided, put them all on a line for these playoffs, and every single time they showed up. It's unstoppable. Coach decided because we don't
do with it.
We're GM. We don't make those decisions.
No,
that's right.
You just give them the roster and your goalie is, we saw it, Elias Samsonov.
Love that.
We stuck with Sammy and Wall all through this.
And you might think to yourself, whoa, what an unrealistic video game. He must have put on a world-beating performance.
No. There's actually
Sammy wasn't great.
he had a goal where he saved it off his chest, but he was already in
His
the net.
chest was in the net, so it counted.
And I was like, this is super accurate game.
Yeah.
Not
No
good.
idea where his posts are.
Not good.
Not good. Not
But good enough.
Yeah, the thing is, like, they had 42 shots or something like that, so he made 38 saves.
Which means they
That's
kicked your friggin' teeth in the third period.
They did.
No, I saw that final. I was like, 42.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Leafs parked the bus. They parked the bus, but they won.
We won 4-1 in that series. We had a great playoff.
It was.
We
You only lost, 5 games? The entire
the
playoffs?
entire playoffs. Yeah. We built a great team. We're going for back-to-backs now. So
Minnesota mild.
you guys can't make fun of me. That's the whole thing.
No,
like
not-
I am now a Stanley Cup champion.
Now, here's my question. As a Stanley Cup champion,
yes.
are you going to continue with the same team? Are you going to accept a job to go elsewhere within the NHL now? People were calling you Messiah, you Jesse. So
That's a good line.
what are you planning on doing with this series now that you've won the cup?
Going to reject the job offer from the Red Sox to stay in Oakland or what?
The first, is that a Moneyball reference?
It is.
First piece of business is try and go back-to-back. Sticking around with this team. Whole core is signed. I think top to bottom, everybody's signed. So we're just going to try and run it back with the same unit and go back-to-back. So that's the first piece of business.
Okay.
After that, we'll see where it goes.
Not an old team.
No, they're like mid-aged. It's good.
Oh, by the way,
Minnesota is ancient.
tell
Yes.
everybody what you did to Timothy Liljegren early in the season, who missed out on his Stanley Cup.
Timothy Liljegren was an RFA still, and he wanted a whole bunch of money as an RFA. I think it was like $4 or $5 million. We are right up against the cap. I think we have $2 million in cap space. And I was like, Timothy, we can't.
Which is shocking considering your roster. It's such a bad roster.
I think he might have saved money on Kevin LeBanc.
Yeah.
Excuse me. This team won a Stanley Cup.
They sure did.
How are you still crapping on the roster?
They sure did. But anyway, sorry.
My goodness.
Kevin LeBanc.
Kevin LeBanc is a great second line winger. Leafs should look into getting him.
Yes.
As the virtual Leafs.
Kapanen is your third line right wing.
Kapanen's fantastic. Timothy Liljegren was holding out for a new contract. He didn't play the first couple months of the season. When you reach December, you can't play the rest of the season, right? Once you're not signed by a certain date in December. Couple days before that date, we said, Timothy, this is all the money we got. We got $2 million. If you don't want it, you don't get to be a part of this. And we moved him because he wouldn't accept that amount of money. And from that moment on, it was like, if you don't want to be here, get out. Everybody else wanted to be there. We kept the same team we had going to the trade deadline. We didn't make any moves. We kept the team, and this is the team that was successful for us.
Do you remember what you traded Liljegren for?
Picks.
Wow.
Strictly picks, yeah.
Strictly picks, and then you didn't use them.
No.
Well, you're going to use them at the draft when you continue the series.
Exactly,
You-
as we build.
What is it? Had your cake and ate it too?
Exactly.
Good for you. Wow. It took me way too long to remember a very common saying, baby brain.
Do we want to do what the actual fun part of the stream was? Because we know like winning and everything's fun, but Steve Dangle broke out the impressions.
When everyone's like, oh, Steve said he's taking requests. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And then they're like, here's a bunch of requests.
That
started
would be
setting them up.
Adam. That would be Adam who made this thing happen.
So I was assigned to the super chats because there were a ton of them because people were like grumpy about the fact that they were, and I get it, they weren't getting their super chats read. I'm like, well, damn, I got to get on that.
Yeah.
So I started reading them out and people started requesting Steve call the game. It started with, I believe, a Sid 6-0 impression.
Yep.
And
The Calder Cup means nothing.
here we go.
What a nice play there.
7th goal of the playoffs. Damn.
This was on a Frederick Goudreau goal.
Yeah.
We're getting to it. Adam reads the super chat right here.
Well, we got incredible coverage in front of the net. Everyone.
No, hold on. We're bringing this one back. This is awful defense.
All right.
This
and
is
by
terrible.
the way, hold on. Before you do this, Jesse,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
actually have a super chat asking Steve to do this in his Sid 6-0 voice.
Oh, okay.
Can you do your Sid 6-0 impression?
All right,
All right.
Steve. So that's Petrie coming up, and then are you ready?
Yeah, stay zoomed in a bit because it's hard for me to see the numbers as well. Jeff Petrie.
This is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
He has the puck. He would never have it in real life. He's terrible. He would never have an opportunity to be in the Stanley Cup final. Not again. He's not again. He's not played against the Leafs in real life. 95, Burns, Sider, wide. Now, here's what we got. No. So, slow it down. Who's in charge here? Who's in charge? I need to know. I need chicken fingers, and I need your attention. All right? Pass to 47. Now, I don't know whose job it was to have 47. Who's 91? Who's that clown? Hitting his own player.
Sean Monahan.
Monahan.
It's Sean Monahan.
Boring Sean Monahan, more like liability Sean Monahan, shoving his own player instead of covering your job.
Look, 4 guys.
You are literally taxed with covering the worst Gaudreau in the NHL. And you couldn't even do that.
That's mean. Look at Sammy too. Sammy, you suck. Oh.
They all have their ears between their knees, and they can't figure out what they're doing.
It was great.
I thought it was extremely good.
stuff.
There were plenty of them too, so it was
Elmo, Ken Danico, Buck Martinez.
They scored during a Ken Danico impression, which was incredible.
Yes, they did, Adam. I thought they did extremely good.
Well, let me see. Which one's this one?
I don't know.
Steve, how do you think the Leafs can hold on to this lead? What's the key to hopefully lifting the cup at the end of these 20 minutes?
No.
It feels ridiculous. We're even in this position, Jesse. Emma doesn't even know what to do with his hands. He doesn't even know what to do with his hands. Emma's never been in this position. They haven't. Do you understand? Emma hasn't seen the Leafs in the Stanley Cup final since before the moon landing. They went up there. Depends on who you ask. But Emma is so impressed. Despite the shitty goaltending, Emma is excited to see the Leafs raise the Stanley Cup above their head. Emma can't do it because Emma's too small.
Okay. All right, Steve. Jesse, for your next terrifying.
Has Elmo ever said shitty before?
Shitty.
Yes, I just did.
was good.
And I think I have Buck Martinez here as well.
That was a good one,
which was a
actually.
fantastic one.
I've never even practiced.
Let me see if it's this one. On here.
Steve, can you do a Buck Martinez?
That's a good request.
We got Toronto Maple Leafs here. And, they throw the puck down into the corner because they're on the penalty kill. And Rossi takes a shot. It doesn't go in.
That doesn't go.
That's incredible. By the way, the Jays are down 7-0.
Don't tell us.
Yeah, sorry, they were.
With respect, what do you fucking expect?
You kept going. You slipped a little into you're just doing Chief Wiggum.
Yeah.
Or Mayor Quimby, which is kind
It
of
became very like bake them away, toys.
Yeah.
Like by the end of it.
But listen, it was a lot to throw at you all at once, and you did
Yes.
great.
yeah.
You did great.
Someone was like, "Can you do Jimmy Hart?" And I'm like, "No."
Not well. No, I can't.
Can you do someone who was last culturally relevant like 27 years ago?
So
No, I can't.
Jesse, what are you going to do with your day with the cup?
I promised I'd bring it to SDPN. I feel like
there you go.
that's the celebration we have to have as a team. Maddie, there's the picture of my squad that Adam and Steve hate. There's our picture. We're all celebrating the
There
Stanley
are 3
Cup.
good players on the roster.
There's Mo Sider, Morgan Riley,
All right.
Matthews, Austin, Mitch. What are you talking about?
Charts say cider butt.
We also got like Jake Neighbors, Brad Lambert, Brock Faber.
Oh,
Your fourth line is legitimately your second best line.
yeah, it is. actually.
Yeah, and that's why we're good.
Yeah, you know.
It's true. It's true. They do have a point. Their fourth line, his fourth line has a goal in mind.
Yeah, I forgot about Brock Faber. We sort of buried the lead there. Like,
Yeah.
That's a crazy get.
Revenge here because we got him. I got him in like the first year of the franchise mode. So when he was like sucked a little, he grew into his overall.
The team who didn't want him.
Yeah, revenge series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Good
true.
stuff.
I didn't even think about that. We're getting set for the Stanley Cup final, boys.
Let's go.
The NBA finals are coming on here soon, too. Are you ready to get into the action with the king of sportsbooks, BetMGM?
Yes.
I have placed a bet on the Stanley Cup final.
Give it to us.
BetMGM gave me a $5 bonus bet,
Oh, that's
and I've spent it on the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup.
Woo, baby.
They are the underdogs in this series. If you're not aware of the betting odds right now, the Oilers are the underdogs to the Panthers.
They're the dogs to the cats.
They are the dogs to the Cats.
Hey.
And I believe in Mr. McDavid and Draisaitl and their star, the true star of the team, Stuart Skinner.
I love this.
Oh,
And
I thought you were going to say Zach Hyman.
No, the true star of the team is Evan Bouchard, if we're being honest.
Of course, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so I believe in Evan Bouchard and Bouch Nation. So I put my $5 bonus bet on the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup.
I love this for you, King. And I love that our King, Jesse,
Oil Kings.
is betting with the king of sportsbooks. It's time for big hockey action with BetMGM. Go to betmgm.com for terms and conditions. Must be 19 years of age or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call Connects Ontario 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with iGaming Ontario. Yes, Steve. Did you want to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now listen, summer's upon us. It's good for reflecting. Life slows down a little bit.
Oh, I thought you were talking about my pale complexion.
No, I think that will reflect off of your pool.
Yes.
In fact.
Oh.
No, but while you're sitting by your pool or your neighbor's pool or your friend's pool, like I will be at Steve's pool this summer because I don't have one. I think sometimes it gives you a moment to go, what can I tweak? How can I make my life just a little bit better?
Oh, you mean the good tweak?
That's right. And BetterHelp might just be able to help you with that. You can go to betterhelp.com/SDP to get on your way to your best self. BetterHelp is unique because not only does it bring the pricing of therapy down, you're also able to manage and find your own therapist that kind of works for you, which is very good. You also get to sometimes get matched in less than 48 hours with a therapist, which is huge. So here's what we would recommend. Take a moment. Visit betterhelp.com/SDP and today get yourself 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/SDP. Now, I will tell you who will not be getting their day with the cup. Nikita Grboinkin.
Oh, yeah?
Leafs prospect.
I don't think that's how you say it.
It's going to be how I say it for now.
God, I
Boinkin.
hope there is a Leaf that
Boinkin.
goes by Grboinkin.
Grboinkin? Grebionkin? I don't know. It's Russian, man. I don't know. He's sending the Gagarin Cup back to his hometown of Serov so kids can enjoy it. And he was asked by a reporter, why don't you go? And he said, I have no time. I have to fly to Canada soon.
Woo!
Oh,
nice. Can't wait for the Leafs to get fined for it. Let's go.
Now,
And what round draft pick is he? Like
Fifth.
from what year?
Montreal.
know.
So what was that, 22?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's been
Fifth round draft.
good.
Yeah.
Apparently pretty good.
Has he?
Yeah, and they have signed him to a 3-year entry level. So, but it just doesn't kick in until July 1st. But yeah.
Nikita want boing boing.
Now, I want to say that as we inch closer to the Stanley Cup, not only is this the cup that is the furthest away in terms of geography, we also have a huge disparity in games coached. NHL regular season games coached. This is the biggest disparity ever. Paul Maurice with 1,848.
Good Lord.
Chris Knobloch with 69.
Nice. That's incredible. Wow.
Cool,
Wow. 1,800.
Yeah.
Add playoffs. He's got to be
25.
over 200. Yeah. Or 2,000. Sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
That's incredibly neat. Paul Maurice has been doing this for quite some time.
He has. He's been around a long, long time. And obviously, as the week goes on, we're going to have more and more about that series, but it's been actually kind of quiet on that front.
But you didn't acknowledge the decorations.
Oh, sorry, Steve.
Well, this is, what
Maddie, can we do a full shot
Yeah,
here?
we need a full shot. So this
There you
is for Jesse's video game Stanley Cup win.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look right here, we got a Panthers jersey and an Oilers jersey.
I was unaware at the time of how similar the color schemes were.
Yeah. Shout out the Florida Panthers for picking a color, which most bad teams don't do. They never pick a color. And they finally said, we're red. Red is the winningest color in the world.
Is it?
Yes, it is. I remember seeing a study and it's like, oh, blue teams don't win. I'm like, that explains a lot, actually.
Oh, that's great.
So now they're red and they'll be taking on Blorange. And it will be a great series. You're probably wondering who's on the back.
Hold on. What are they? You have to explain to the audience.
Oh, they're mini jerseys that they used to sell in oh yeah, here.
Were they not McDonald's or something?
No, it wasn't McDonald's. It was Upper Deck. And I have one that's still in the package. It's an Atlanta Thrashers. I assume it's a
it's worth so much money.
I bet it's not, but I'm going to take it to a pawn shop anyway. And yeah, so I got these in a little pack of cards. The Panther is Olli Jokinen, not to be confused with his brother Jussi, captain, and the Oiler, Dwayne Rollison, who was their goalie the last time they went to the Stanley Cup final.
Got injured in the first
before
game.
promptly getting injured and costing them the series.
That's-
But yeah,
That sucked when he got injured.
they definitely should have won that cup
Yes,
final.
absolutely. And listen,
They went to Game 7 with their third goalie.
there's a lot to get through today that doesn't have to do with that particular series.
Oh yeah.
I want to start with Jacob Trouba.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to say Mitch Marner, and I was going to kick you in the chest.
So it was reported yesterday
Okay.
after the Rangers had their press conference, and erroneously reported, as it turns out, that Jake Trouba was playing with a broken ankle.
Erroneously, it was like using the truth to lie.
Molly Walker tweeted today. She's like, "This is the problem with putting out quotes without actually being in the room. The broken ankle New York Ranger captain Jake Trouba referred to happened in March, and he was cleared and fine to play in the playoffs." So she gave the quote, "That was tough because you feel fine, you want to be out there, but you're definitely limited, but it obviously got better the longer it went on. That's a tough one." She said, "To be putting it out there that he skated on a broken ankle all playoffs is false. The injury happened in March. Nobody reported that, and he didn't say that."
I'm sure it limited him to a degree.
Sure, and he says that in the quote. He said, "You're definitely limited."
Yeah, like he was not at 100%, but it's just playing with a shattered ankle. Like
I've never broken
long term.
You guys ever broken any bones, Jesse, Steve?
No.
What have you broken, Jesse?
I broke my bone in my wrist.
Oh.
Yeah, I played football for 1 year. And it wasn't even like during football, it was in practice. We were playing British Bulldog and I got tackled from behind and I landed on my wrist and it broke.
So when it was healed,
Yeah.
you still felt it, right? You still feel it for a while, like when the cast comes off.
Yeah, because you need I had to build back up the muscle in like that arm because my arm was like super tiny.
That was your pitching
like-
arm too.
yeah. It was actually sucked for baseball because I was like off that whole because like winters is the fall, so then spring comes and it was like I was all thrown off that winter season. But like my arm was super skinny when it comes out of the cast because you lose all that muscle and everything because you're not using it, and you just have to build that back up. Yeah. But I was like a kid, so like it's not that serious,
Right,
You
right.
know, as a kid, like kids, you throw a kid off of concrete and they bounce up.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so I was like, I broke my wrist, fucking in springtime playing baseball. you
Yeah.
know?
To play an NHL game
yeah.
off the end of a broken ankle. Okay, he's healthy, he's cleared to play, fine. Now, healthy and cleared to play at the NHL level is very different than being a human being. Also, I want to say that most athletes are not human in the sense of their recovery. These people are already sort of genetically superhuman. That's how you get to that level.
Well, Stamkos friggin' healing his bones like a bug. I don't know what they give those guys in Tampa.
McDavid rehabbing a blown knee.
PCL. Yeah.
Snapped it.
He's
like, no, I'll just work out.
And he's like, well, I could obviously get the surgically repaired. And they're like, yeah, but it'll limit you. And he's like, cool, I'll just, again, heal myself like a bug. Brock Lesnar cured not cured, but he treated wasn't it diverticulitis? Like he like fixed a hole in his intestines with like fruit. Like it's nuts.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm just doing this out of no evidence at all. He took steroids.
Oh, the guy who pissed hot after a UFC fight may have been juiced to the gills.
I'm gonna say that he didn't fix it with fruit. He did it with illegal drugs.
It could have been, maybe he took it with an apple.
Yeah, he took his steroids with an apple, maybe, allegedly.
Like Erik Karlsson playing the 2017 playoffs with a broken foot is obviously extremely painful and probably limiting as well. But that's one of those ones where I'm like, okay, I understand how you could pull it off, though.
Yeah.
Ankle? No, I don't understand that at all.
Not a fun experience either way.
I think Dan Rosen was saying that it wasn't load bearing for Trouba, so like he could put pressure on it. It's just like the turning and everything that was affecting him,
Which you can see.
Pretty important.
which makes sense because when your foot's in the boot and the skate, it's kind of stable there. It's just moving it around is kind of difficult. So yeah, no, I feel for Trouba who's playing through that, but like it doesn't excuse, and he's not using it as an excuse, which you like that of your captain and everything, but his decision making, that doesn't. I don't know if the ankle plays into that.
Yes.
I'm sure it does.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%. But because there's what you do naturally, and then like when you're injured, like I look at it as you're not in your natural state. Like as someone who had like chronic back problems for a long time, like it went into everything. I had to reconsider everything, and one of the greatest benefits, besides not being in pain all the time anymore, is not having to think as hard about everything.
Wow.
You know?
Have you ever considered crying about it? Or?
Yeah, I have.
I think you make a lot of sense with that. Like
Crying about it?
No,
What if I sucked it up and stopped being such a baby?
if you don't trust your ankle to get to the position you want, and you make a split second decision, because these aren't like conscious decisions that you're making them in the moment, kind of unconsciously. And if you're just a little scared of your ankle, do you make the wrong decision because you don't want to go do that?
Well, like, do you think McDavid's like thinking about like, hope I don't get hurt when he's going like just doing all kinds of ridiculous stuff? No, like you got to think about it, because you're like, if I make this move, it's going to be a problem. Like, I wonder if there are ever goalies who could make a save on a play and they know it, but they're like, yeah, but I might blow my shit up, and they just don't bother doing it. Like it's gotta factor into decision making. It just has to. Like, you know, okay, it's game 18 in November. Hopefully we get one back. Versus, well, it's game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. I don't care if my body explodes. Like, I'll be a champion forever.
Remember when
sort of thing.
When Erik Karlsson had the ankle thing flared up in the playoffs for Ottawa in 2017?
Oh, the Achilles?
And then, was it the Achilles that flared up? There was some sort of foot issue he had.
He's had some really significant injuries. He broke his foot in 2017, and the Matt Cook thing was Achilles.
Yeah. So in 2017, that was 2011 though. That was like a long, long time ago. Because remember, Eugene Melnyk tried to go after Matt Cook in court or whatever.
Yeah.
The reason I bring it up is for like a good couple of years after that, Erik Karlsson just couldn't pivot on that foot, and people figured it out.
He's still not like great at it.
No,
but like he can do some crazy things.
He can.
Yeah.
You learn to work around it. I think he's actually had a pretty amazing resurgence, and he was better than even I would have given him credit for in Pittsburgh this year. Like, he obviously won the Norris Trophy last year. I understand that, whatever, but I think, it's amazing. It's crazy that he played on a terrible team and scored all those points, because somebody has to score the points. When you put him on a team that might challenge for the playoffs, he still did some really, really good things.
I would love a blend of stats and science where you could look at, you know what I hate is, like, I like analytics a lot, but I hate when someone just goes, well, this player's bad now. And I'm like, well, okay, is this once good player bad, or are they obviously recovering from a very public injury?
I'll give you one. John Tavares, the season after he took Corey Perry's knee to the face in the playoffs.
Oh!
Accidentally.
Yes.
But
and then
people are like, he's cooked.
He's cooked, and then
still has a point a game and wasn't.
And then, now I think he's mid-30s. He's gonna age naturally. But like, I would love a breakdown of, okay, here's how he did in the month leading up to the injury. Here's how it was the month after. Here's how he was roughly when he's supposed to be good to go. You know what I mean? And injuries, like, we're talking about the short-term effects on Jacob Trouba. Like, this shit sticks with you for a long time. Like, one of the most in-depth conversations I was able to have was with Andrew Hammond when he was... Oh, I remember why I interviewed him. I went to Belleville to interview him when he was with the Belleville Senators, and he was still with the Belleville Senators after being traded to the Colorado Avalanche. The Sens, or the Avalanche, just let him stay there. And I can't remember what the original injury was, but he had like a hip thing that led to a knee thing that led to an ankle thing.
Yep.
That healed, and then the knee thing healed, and the hip, and then this flared back up, and it kept going up and down until finally he's like, hey, I'm not very good anymore, and I'm in constant pain. Can I please get surgery?
Right.
It's these guys are always playing with something.
Jesse, can we bring up the video of the Rempe State Building? Have a listen to this quote. It's a lot of fun. This guy I can't wait to see a full season of this guy next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what is the plan for the summer? Where's the plan for summer? Well, first off, I gotta get rid of my eye infection. I look like an idiot, so sorry about that.
Oh, damn.
But I have a big plan. I'll work anyone. I got a big plan. I'm gonna work on every single part of my game. I want to bring more to the table. I want to be a guy who can play 8 to 12 minutes every single night in a role. I grew up as a centerman. I want to play center or wing and play both positions. I want to be really good defensively. I want to eventually be a penalty killer, but I just got to earn all these things. I want to work on my skating, work on my skill set, work on making plays with the puck, passing every part of my game. I also want to work in the fight. I want to be a guy. I want to be I really enjoy that side of the game, and I want to continue to work on that, and then just getting stronger, filling into my body more, my mobility, everything. I got a lot of work to do, and I know that I've always done that. I think as a 6th round pick, kind of always exceeded expectations. Just outwork, and I've got such a long way to go, and I'm excited. Yeah.
He's 165th overall. By the way, here, can you put it back on him for a sec? That's not a particularly thick looking dude, right? He's not a professional wrestler. That dude is 241 pounds. That's what he's listed.
Oh, because he's tall.
And he's talking about filling out, and I'm like, yeah, there is room to grow. This guy's going to be fucking huge.
He's a child. He's 21.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Watch the next 3 years. He's gonna put someone through the board.
He's going to be playing at 250 plus.
Yeah.
Good Lord. I can't help but be fascinated by him.
Oh, of course. And I thought the eye infection thing was hilarious. That's a great quote. But I love his attitude. I love it. He's like, I want to be this. I want to be that. This is what I'm working on. That is amazing.
That's exactly what you want to hear out of your team's hockey players. To just hear that he wants to work on his game and just get better in the offseason. That's when you ask somebody their offseason plan, he's like, I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'm just keep playing hockey. That's gotta jack you up if you're a Rangers fan.
Well, it's really encouraging to hear he wants to be a penalty killer. Like it or not, that's what you need at your bottom 6. You can make your stars do it, and the Rangers have stars that can do it. It's if you're looking at reasons to keep a guy in the lineup, there's not always going to be an opportunity to fight. You know what I mean? So that's how he stuck in the regular season. And then in the playoffs, you saw his usefulness go down and down and down. If he can kill penalties, that's going to be crazy for him. In 17 regular season games, how many penalty minutes did he have?
No idea.
110.
71.
Jesse just went high. 71's a lot.
Way to kill the bit.
I was looking at Ole Oken and stats because he had him there. He had one season where he had 108 penalty minutes in 1 year.
Damn.
So that's why I kind of threw that out there. With Matt Rempe, his expectations too, just hearing that quote, he knows that he's not telling them, hey, I want to play 20 minutes next year. He said 8 to 12. And I want to go from a winger to a center. He's just trying to take it the ladder one step at a time, It's like, okay, maybe I can get into the lineup every day next year. I can be a penalty killer. I can play 8 to 12 minutes. And then next offseason, when the season's ending and the New York Rangers are lifting the Stanley Cup and they ask him, hey, what are you doing this offseason? He's like, I want to play 15 minutes now. That's the attitude he has. This is a perfect hockey player. This is awesome.
I think two things. One, that's a really smart kid. Two, that's a kid who just got out of his exit meeting with Peter Laviolette. And I'm sure they exchanged exact numbers.
He's saying the right stuff.
He's 21 now. Imagine he gets up to 12 minutes a night.
That's an effective player.
In the next 3 years. He can win a face-off. He's over 50%.
Laviolette trusted him.
Is that not one of the most valuable bottom 6 forwards in the league?
Oh yeah,
6'8".
Yeah,
wins faceoffs, kills. Imagine that wingspan killing a penalty.
It's tricky, right? You do need foot speed, but at some point,
it's positioning.
I think at some point you become so big that you overcome it.
Yes,
and, I mean, if you can go like this and take up half the ice, half the width of the ice, it might be helpful.
You said Laviolette trusted him. He did not until the end.
No, but there were times where I'm like, why is he on the ice right now?
Right, but in his final game of the playoffs, which I believe was the game, so they lost in 6. I think it was game 5. It might have been 5 or 4. I'm not sure. He didn't play past the middle of the second period.
No, and that was a shame.
And in that game, he had a total ice time of 2 minutes and 43 seconds,
which is why it was time to take him out.
Which was okay, we get it. You're out there, but at that point, you're not helping your team if you're not on the roster if you're playing 2 minutes and 43 seconds. So this is what you want to hear out of Rempe. If that's how your season ends. you want to hear somebody be like, hey, I'm gonna work all off season to get those skills, so I'm not on the ice for 2 minutes.
The Rangers had a lot of like improvised bottom six grit. Like Capo Caco, like I know he's a second overall pick and people want him to be a certain thing. I'm like, that's an effective grunt. Like, like you, and I say that as a compliment. Like that's what the Rangers needed at the time. And he was an effective grunt. But like outside of Barclay Goodrow, there wasn't a ton there.
It was a problem with the roster where you didn't just have your set roster and your set 4 lines. You know, they had to mix up everything. Okay, we need to get some people going here. Let's move up. Blah, blah. And it was like, okay, we know there's an issue here if you can't just run these lines out every single time.
Yeah. Final 4.
Yeah, no. Final 4.
Jesse, I just sent you a link to Igor Shesterkin. Now, you may not have thought about this if you're a Rangers fan. Maybe you have. But Igor only has a year left on his contract at $5.66667 million.
This is a great clip.
Yeah, on July 1st, he can sign that extension.
Oh, I thought you had
the
clip ready. My bad.
Throw the clip up.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought we were chatting.
Yeah, we were chit chat. Here we go.
You gotta respond to chat.
Igor, now that the season is over, do you allow yourself to think about contract or wanting to be here for a long time?
Sorry, I don't speak English.
Igor, now that
he doesn't speak English.
He speaks great English.
He does. It's good. It's good.
He's hockey's Yao Ming.
What's the contract if you're the best goaltender in the world?
Damn. I'd probably look at what Vasi got. What Vasi get? 8 times 9.5?
A couple years ago, though.
A couple years ago. Well,
all the Rangers have to do is say, listen, Igor, you're worth whatever you ask, but we do want to build a team in front of you. Mm-hmm. So can you help us with that? Now, if one of the Leafs core for you go, that's your fucking problem.
Well, yes, absolutely.
And by the way, players should do that. Well, but there needs to be some sort of accord here. If Ken Shesterkin become the third $10 million goaltender in NHL history, I think he should.
Well, I think, it's interesting. We had a conversation previously about did Bob and Price screw it up for everyone else? And then Price went to the Cup final, and 2 years later,
Bob has gone twice.
Let's look. 2020, there was a goalie making 9.5, Vasilevsky. Well, I think he was making 9.5 at the time. 2021, the matchup was a 9.5 goalie against a 10.5 goalie. 2022 was Kemper versus, who did the Avs beat? Vasilevsky, 9.5. So there he was again.
Kemper making? 2.5, 3? That's good value.
It was like 4 or 5, something like that. Last year was Bob, 10 or 10.5.
Yeah.
Against Aiden Hill, who
775
wasn't making very much and is now making like 4.5 or 5 or something like
4.9.
And this year we got Stuart Skinner ? Against Bobrovsky again. So now that I look at it, I go, damn, there's been one of the top 5 most expensive goalies in the world in the Stanley Cup final every year for the last, 4 or 5 Stanley Cup finals?
But then usually on the other side of it is, except in the Price, I guess, Vasi situation, usually on the other side of it is somebody who's making no money.
Yeah.
So which one do you want to go for,
Well, yeah, it is. Well, okay. I guess you're looking at it like, okay, if we lock this guy up, we go to the Stanley Cup final and then figure it out from there. Like, I don't think, the Vegas Golden Knights were not like Aiden Hill's our guy. Mm-hmm. We know that on account of he was their 4th.
Yes.
Okay, let's go get an 80-year-old Jonathan Quick, who's good for them. They
Robin Lehner,
Logan Thompson,
not available because for years.
Robin Lehner wasn't available. They had Yuri Patera. They used a lot of goalies, man. Colorado was they outbid the Oilers on Kemper. So even though he wasn't making very much, they did what they could. They spent a lot to get him, even if it wasn't a lot against the cap. Stuart Skinner is very clearly the outlier here.
Maddie, we have here actually, I'm going to remove handedness so we can get a little better. There you go. We have here the list of goaltenders by cap hit in the NHL and their signing date. Where, Adam Wilde and Steve Dangle, do you think next season Igor Shesterkin slides into this list? So for anybody listening, for reference, 1 through 10 here, Price, Bobrovsky, Vasilevsky, Hellebuck, Sorokin, Gibson, Markstrom, Binnington, Grubauer, Shesterkin. That is the top 10. Shesterkin's already the 10th highest paid goalie at $5.6 million. Where does he move up on this list?
He's got to be minimum between Vass and Bobrovsky, and if not, higher than Bobrovsky.
If I'm Shesterkin, I take a break from my off-season training to find Connor Hellebuck and where he's trading and punch him in the face for signing for 8.5 mil.
Yeah.
Like, that's a man. I know he's 31
and he got all the years, right?
I think it was times 8.
All right.
So Shesterkin he's not much younger, eh? He's 28. I know 28 is very different from 31. Take it from me.
No, Igor's 25. Oh, no, Igor's 28. What am I looking at? Signing age. Oh, yeah, Igor's 28. You're right. Yeah.
No, he was like
signing age. Sorry.
He was like 25 at his debut.
Yeah.
Like he that Hellebuck one. If I'm Shesterkin, I'm being like, yeah, but he's older. But
does he pass Hellebuck on this deal? Like, yeah, right?
Grubauer's number 9. Ooh, I'm dying. Gibson! Woo! Woo! Anyway, sorry. I don't think he's signing unless it's out of the goodness of his heart for less than what Vasilevsky's making.
So 9.5. Wow.
Of course. I'm Igor Shesterkin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it double digits?
I mean, only 2 guys have ever got that. And I mean, I guess the argument against it, well, okay, my team lost to Bobrovsky's team, but also I was better. Is what I would argue. And Bobrovsky's 10. I thought he was 10.5. Price is 10.5.
The top 3 goalies have all been to the Stanley Cup final.
I think a perfectly reasonable, I think a perfectly reasonable contract for all involved is the Vasilevsky one.
Except a little more. So
he's got to get more than that.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky.
So 9.7.
Only a year older than him too.
9.6. 9.8.
I think he could get up to 10. But like I think Rangers fan, like, no one, I think you sign a player that's 9.5 and it's not even an everyday player, right? So like your goalie doesn't play every day, right? I think you tug your collar a little bit. If he comes in under 10, considering he's signing in 2024 for a contract that doesn't kick in until 2025, 9.5 I think is a godsend.
And a little bit more, just so he beats Fassi. So 9.6.
Maddie, did you want to say something?
Yeah,
Maddie,
hold on.
It's kind of a random question. How many Cup finals has Price been to?
One.
Only one. Eh?
Yeah, just the one.
Well, here's the problem with
should have been 2.
Carey Price probably should have won a cup in Montreal, but the general manager was Marc Bergevin.
The general manager was Chris Kreider skating full tilt into his knees.
Well, to be honest though, like Montreal is still cleaning up the Bergevin years. Like they really are. That Stanley Cup run was great, but
That's
it was yes. Was it Chris Kreider? Yes, but also
it cost them everything.
Let's be honest.
Yeah,
the guy was Steve. How many years did Bergevin get with Price in net in his prime before they finally make the final? And that's Carey Price's last game.
How many 70-point players did he surround Carey Price
exactly
with? Yeah.
No. And sorry, I'm just not a Bergevin guy. I do think.
Yeah?
You have to be ahead of Vasilevsky.
Sorry.
That was good.
Ask LA how they feel about Bergevin right now.
I know. Price signed that in 2017 too. That's how friggin' good that guy was.
Yeah, he was.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I would say you got to be the Bob deal. It seems unfair that he would get less than Bob.
Bob was also a UFA.
Yeah.
He went to unrestricted free agency.
That's a very good point.
Okay.
Yeah, he tested the market.
Igor on the open market right now.
Oh my God.
20 million. $40 million from Vegas.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're signing an extension with a team that you still have a year left with. I feel like that makes it a very different situation. The best free agent goalie available in like 2 decades. Like, yeah, that's why they emptied the vault for Bobrovsky. Didn't start great too. Like people forget about that. He looked real crap.
Yeah.
He's worth every penny right now.
He was not their starting goaltender at the beginning of last year's Stanley Cup playoff.
Nope, was not.
And like he lost his job to Alex Lyon, like earnestly lost his job to Detroit's third goalie.
We know.
And well,
we were all there.
Third goal. I'm hamming it up a little bit, but you know what I mean? Like, and then he had an incredible playoff. He had an incredible season. He's had another incredible playoff, but it hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows for clubs.
I also remember about that run last year. Do you remember in the third round? Against Carolina, there was that picture taken of him, and he was just a waif. Like there was nothing of him left because he'd sweat so much that game.
Yeah, but that's like modern goalie build.
Still, that was thin.
They're starting to get a bit bigger, but like no, goalies are shaped funny.
They're shaped they're all tiny people.
Like
tiny but tall.
No, they're like a person who's got like 5% the DNA of a spider.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. They're all James Myrtle builds.
There you go.
Yeah.
Noodles.
Yeah.
Big noodles.
So I wonder, I don't know if some better stats person than I can do this. Is this the biggest discrepancy ever in salary amongst the starting goaltenders in a Stanley Cup final? And no, because it would have been last year.
Yeah.
So is this number 2?
What was Adin Hill last year, just for record?
Adin Hill, he's right here. I'll click him. Adin Hill last year
was he 7.75?
Was 2.1 million.
Oh, that's more than I thought.
2020.
No, because he was good. He was good with Arizona, and then
San Jose signed this deal. Doug Wilson signed this one. Yeah.
Doug Wilson. Damn.
He was San Jose, then Arizona, then Stanley Cup champion goalie with Vegas. Wow. Then just generational wealth extension. Crazy.
Yeah. So shout out Doug Wilson for giving the Vegas Golden Knights their starting goal.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them.
So last
and Thomas
year,
Hertl.
Last year, the discrepancy was 2.175 million to 10 million for Bobrovsky. And this year, it's 10 million to Bobrovsky. And Stuart Skinner is all the way down here at 2.6 million.
Close.
Oh, yeah. Close.
Wow.
But there you go.
What, it's $100,000 difference? Not much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I forget the number.
Guys, when you're walking out in the sunshine, sun's out, guns out, but the sun is in your eyes, what do you instantly think of?
I need Shady Rays right now.
How many pairs of Shady Rays do you need?
2.
Or more.
For
50% off?
Yeah.
That's crazy. What a great deal.
It's so weird how that's the first thought that comes to your mind.
Yeah. Not just sunglasses, but the brand.
Yeah, exactly. Shady Rays is specifically what comes to your mind.
Well, because what the second most important thing to me is protecting my eyes. The first is trust. Mm-hmm. And I have that with Shady Rays.
And you know what? And the reason he is trust is that Shady Rays has a basically if your glasses take a hit or you lose them, you've got protection.
If your dog punches you in the face with their head,
which happened to you,
that did happen to me. Why are you shaking your head, Maddie? That is something that happened in real life. Shady Rays.
Exclusively for SDPN listeners, too. Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use the promo code SDP for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try it for yourself, and it will be the first thing that comes to your mind. And it's been rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. SDP is the promo code. 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. All right.
Not a big one.
Let's move on. The Leafs have officially named Lane Lambert, former coach of the New York Islanders, as an assistant coach.
Oh, breaking news.
Craig Berube's staff. This is from reporter Chris. You know him, right?
Oh, so it's true.
While announcing that assistant coach Dean Chenoth will not be back next season. And it's too bad because I finally learned how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
It's not Chenoweth. It's Chenoth.
Yeah, we've been saying it wrong, apparently. Because I heard CJ say it, and CJ said it right.
Teej Iginla.
Teej. That's not Tig?
No.
What is it?
Well, Teej. So you said Tig and you said Tig, and I'm like, I don't know the correct answer, so I'm not going to say anything. And we got yelled at.
I've never heard it said.
I've never heard it said out loud.
I've never heard a person say it.
I just read about it.
I just guessed.
Yeah. Okay.
Honest.
Well, it's spelled Tig.
Yeah.
Oops.
I had a friend who read Harry Potter and for years thought it was Hermione.
Yeah, of course.
Because she had never heard the name.
Because it's a bizarre ass name.
And that too. Name. Do you know a Hermione?
Yeah. Tej is way better. I like Tej way better.
Oh, is that how you say it? Tej?
Apparently it's Siege.
Okay.
According to
I should.
like this could be, we could have said it perfectly right, and someone on the internet's like, watch, I'm gonna fuck with these idiots. He believed the MHL stuff.
yeah.
He'll believe this.
Yeah.
Like
You didn't double check before bringing it to the show?
no, absolutely not.
Okay, cool.
Why
No,
would I?
my bad. I
would I?
gotta go listen to some like play-by-play and
Yeah,
stuff to get
there you
this
go.
right. I gotta get the kid's name right.
that's
We're gonna be saying it for fucking decades now.
When the Leafs draft him, and Lane Lambert is his assistant coach, and not Dean Chenelf.
I want to say it kind of there's a part of me that understands the coaching carousel, but things didn't go well on the island for Lane Lambert, and I'm wondering, you've got Guy Boucher, who's supposed to be a defensive guy, right?
Do you? Maybe you don't.
Well, no, apparently he's going to stay. And so you got Guy Boucher, who's supposed to be the defensive guy, but you have him running the power play. Lane Lambert had one of the most anemic offenses in recent NHL history with those New York Islanders. They were terrible on offense. They couldn't score. So who's going to run the offense? Like, are we not?
Yeah, but
why are we not bringing in?
He had the same problem as the last guy, though. Like,
Yeah,
so
but the
so that's what I
last
look at.
guy made it work, though. And that was how the team was built. My point is, we have a hyper-powered offense here that consistently underperforms when it matters. What are we doing about it? What are we doing about it?
Well,
We got a hyper-powered
Ask again.
offense that doesn't score
ask
in the
again.
playoffs.
that's why you brought in Craig Berube. That's why Sheldon Keefe was fired.
So
Yeah, but you
Isn't
have to have an offensive coach who's offensive-minded. Do you not?
Craig Berube is going to figure that out. That's the point of not having Sheldon Keefe anymore.
Lane Lambert. So I'm looking at his resume right now. We've talked about this before. Not every assistant or associate coach, he's been both. Not every assistant or associate coach.
And by the way, he'll be an associate coach. I missed. No, he's not an assistant. He's an associate.
I don't know the difference.
The difference is it's a pyramid: associate, assistant, head.
I know this.
We have
because
5 coaches.
I'm a general manager in NHL 24, and you can hire the coaches to the different tiers, and they get different salaries based on where you put them.
Oh, it's a pay thing.
Well, in the video game,
The Leafs have 5 coaches. So
Not every associate or assistant coach is a good head coach, and not every head coach is a good assistant coach.
Sure.
This is one of the things I talked about with Craig Berube when he was hired, and Sheldon Keefe when he was subsequently hired in New Jersey. Keefe has, for his entire coaching career, like going all the way back to the Lumber Kings, like been a head coach. That's it. Like since 2003 or something like that. Something crazy. Berube's been all over the map. Lambert, outside of 1.5 years as the head coach of the Islanders, assistant, associate on teams that chronically overachieved.
which teams?
Nashville for 3 years.
Under Barry Trotz.
Washington for 4 years.
Under Barry Trotz.
Including their Stanley Cup championship. Then he went to the Islanders
Under
as
Barry
an
Trotz.
associate. And then he became the head coach, succeeding Barry Trotz.
But here's the question. How does he do without Barry Trotz?
Well, what if he worked with him bloody long enough to bring a little Barry Trotz to the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I think you're looking a little too into this. I think it's going to be perfectly fine. I don't think Lane Lambert's hiring is something to get upset about because
Oh, you mean him?
Adam's reaction.
I was like, I think I'm handling this really well.
I was speaking to Adam's reaction. I think it's a little dramatic to be upset that Lane Lambert worked on a couple of Islanders teams that, frankly, overperformed.
You're a piece of
They got to the conference final back-to-back years when he was an associate, and if he's looking to come here and teach this roster how to overperform, that's a good thing. What's there to be upset about?
You're looking at the negatives. I'm looking at the positives, and I think both are valid.
Listen,
How about you?
That's the worst thing you could ever.
What I'm asking,
He didn't say yes.
what I'm asking for
He didn't say
is for
anything.
them to bring in a guy who can actually unleash the potential here. And if Lane Lambert's the defense guy, okay, cool. That's great. That's awesome. Guy that learned under Barry Trotz, please.
Yeah.
Awesome. Incredible. I love it. Now, the first time you criticize certain players, they're going to go complain to the general manager, but maybe the general manager this time doesn't care.
That'd be nice.
So that would be really great.
I think we're making a lot of assumptions about what Lane Lambert's role as an associate coach can be. Like, we don't know if he ran the offense or the defense. I don't think what happened on the island is indicative of what kind of coach Lane Lambert is because he didn't have the tools. Like he didn't have offensive juggernauts.
He had Pierre Engvall. What are you talking about?
He had,
Why do you think I got a 7-year deal?
He had Pierre.
What are you
Engvall
talking
doing
about?
So much cardio.
He had like 7 goals, man. He was crazy.
Hey, Engvall, you want to go out there and work on your abs tonight? You can. Just do some cardio.
Look at that stride. That's crazy. Look at that stride. Okay.
So I don't know if we can take anything from his time there and just say, you know what, they were a defensive team. That's how the Leafs are going to be. You know,
I'm not saying that either. But I do think the team needs to play.
It's kind of what you said.
No, it's not. It's what I said. Listen, I'm happy if he's brought in to run defense, but if we have another Guy Boucher situation, guy who's known for defense, put him with Matthews. Like, what are we doing?
Is Lambert known for defense?
Yes, Barry Trotz.
No, what I'm trying to say is they were very successful. Washington was very successful. I think they won a Stanley Cup. The Islanders
he taught Braden Holtby how to goalie.
Who knows what he was running as an associate coach? Like maybe he was handling some of the offense. I don't think we can take Barry Trotz was good defensively and just say that's Lane Lambert.
I think we're also
what
terrible.
do you do here?
We're terrible
Right?
at evaluating what coaches bring to the table.
Yes.
Not like. From their,
And all I'm saying, guys, is I'd like to know. Let me finish. I just want to know. Let me finish.
From who?
So we look at assistant coaches and we go, this is the type of assistant coach they were, and therefore they're going to be this type of head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember, if I'm not mistaken, when he was brought in to the Islanders, I think
Beef up their offense.
Well, yeah, this is probably part of the reason Islanders fans were disappointed in him. They're like, well, now they're going to score. And I don't think it works.
Well, they
that
didn't
way.
bring in anybody who could score.
That's what I'm saying.
Not really.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Zach
like
Parise.
if our expectation is that Brendan Shanahan's going to write us a letter or Craig Berube is going to come out and be like, you know what, he's working on these specific parts of the game. I think that's a little much. And who knows how this is going to play out.
They should tell us. They should tell us.
They should tell us.
They have defensive coaches. They have offensive coaches. They're listed on the website.
Yeah, I think as the season goes along, we'll learn from the people who are at practice how these things go and if it's going well.
All right.
I don't know if we can take a lot from the hiring.
I have 2 things I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
2. Lane Lambert played for 3 NHL teams. Which are they?
I don't know.
Come on, man. Play the game.
Played for the Leafs. I don't know.
No, he didn't play for the damn Leafs. He played for the Detroit Red Wings, the New York Rangers, and the Quebec Nordiques.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yes. Number 2, Edmonton will love this hiring because he is from Saskatchewan.
Which is half of Edmonton.
Yeah, thank goodness they didn't hire a guy from Stockholm. Otherwise.
Oh.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Stop it.
You know what I mean?
Why are Edmonton media catching strays
You know what
today?
I mean?
They don't
No,
deserve
it's just
that.
one guy.
They don't deserve that. Hey, listen. I want to set up this next topic. This one, the Lane Lambert thing was an appetizer. This next Leafs topic is something that is about to boil over.
Oh, I'm going to kick you in the chest.
And I'm seeing Leaf fans get upset about it.
Oh, boy.
Because we've had Justin Bourne, Pierre LeBrun, Elliot Friedman all weigh in on this. And we have quotes from Brad Treliving on it as well. So I want to start this by saying that a lot of this seems to be conjecture. A lot of this seems to be...
What does that mean?
It seems to be we don't actually know. We're assuming.
Oh, like made up?
It could be sourced, but not a full picture, I would say.
Conjecture is a better way to describe it than made up.
Right.
But
it's not made up.
Not based in hard fact.
Yeah, I would say that. And I also want to say that what we're about to tell you is something that this person's representatives have done before. And I want you to recognize the same patterns so you don't get upset. Because there's no point in getting upset, right? What is an agent's job? Jesse and Steve, what if you hired an agent, what would you hire them to do?
A podcast.
Oh, shit. That was good.
That was a really strong high five.
Yeah.
I wanted you. What was the player that you mimicked was like a dog? Lambert, right? That's what you want your agent to do on your behalf with management. You want them to go,
No. You're paired up with Adam Wild.
That's
Your podcast and agent provocateur.
right.
You just hold up a dartboard to Gary Bettman and there's 45 minutes for you. Bang.
Also, salary cap. Bet it sucks.
Bang. Triple hard cap. Bang. Bet it sucks.
We got to send Alan this clip.
Yeah.
But the agent's job is to say, my client is worth X. And usually when the agent starts off this conversation, the team is saying, your client is worth Y. The number is somewhere between X and Y. Usually X is about 15 to 20% more than the client's probable market value. The Y, the team ask, is usually 15 to 20% lower than league what the market value would be. And the reason for that is both sides are going to come to the middle and try to work out who gets a little bit more. Does the team save 3%? Does the agent get an extra 5%? These are the way these negotiations play out. When it comes to Mitch Marner, the last time that the Leafs and the Mitch Marner camp, and I say Mitch Marner camp because his agent Darren Ferris has a very specific way that he likes to negotiate in Toronto. And we saw this in 2018-19.
By clanging two pots together?
It was very obvious, first off.
We want privacy!
Yeah.
That's
It was very obvious back then who he was talking to and who was going to repeat verbatim what Darren Ferris said and tweeted out and caused a shitstorm.
Matthews signed a 5-year contract extension, and that day, Darren Ferris was in the paper in Toronto going, that contract's bullshit. My client's getting paid. We should have known. We should have known that the next 7 months would be bullshit with his client.
Sorry, subwoofer guy.
Don't ruin people's ears.
No, Mitch Marner had a complete puppy dog Care Bear persona in the city, and he ruined it. Darren Ferris ruined it. And I wish Mitch saw that. He doesn't. He blames everyone else, but it's Darren's fault.
There has been building resentment, and you have to acknowledge that within the fan base or certain sections of it in Toronto. There are lots of, I think everybody's a Mitch Marner fan. I think nobody is a fan of how that went. And no, because frankly, what sometimes these agents don't understand is people can't relate to that kind of money. We cannot relate. $1 million is $80,000 a month.
You keep saying that, and why does that put it into easier to understand perspective than just getting $1 million? $80,000 a month. I'm not a car guy. I couldn't spend that fast enough. So I couldn't.
So then, if you get up to what people assume Mitch's next contract will be. Now, he's been at around $11 million, right? I know there was like a 10.193 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That kind of money is where you get up to $800,000 a month. Now, there are taxes, there is escrow, there are agent fees. I understand all that. Players take home roughly 30 to 35% of the total number, but that's still $3 or $4 million bucks, and it's a lot of money. And so the reason I'm doing this obnoxiously long, really drawn out, painful setup that I wouldn't normally do is my job here and our job here is not to stoke the fires of hatred. I don't want the armies of Mordor coming out about this. And I want you to look at this the way it's going to play out, because here's what's happening already. In the last couple of days, we've heard from both Pierre LeBrun, Justin Bourne, and Elliot Friedman as well, to varying degrees about what the Marner camp wants to do. From what we understand, the Toronto Maple Leafs have not asked, talked to, discussed any sort of trade, any sort of whatever. So what do reporters do when the Toronto Maple Leafs essentially give you nothing? Well, you go to the agent. What's the agent say? And what we're hearing from this is a report from Justin Bourne. Mitch Marner prefers to stay with the Leafs and become a UFA, with his camp promoting this idea publicly. This supports something that Pierre LeBrun said yesterday, which was not only have they not been approached, but that this could, and Elliot jumped on this too, this could play out publicly over the next year, as in, maybe we don't want to move, and they don't have to. And they don't have to waive the no trade clause.
All things that we know.
What I want to remind everybody is that even if you're willing to accept a trade and you're Mitch Marner, at this point, you don't admit that. You don't say, yeah, sure, I'd love a trade. You don't do that. You try to get as much out of this as you possibly can. If you say you want to trade, the team that tries to trade for you will understand that, and it will hurt your negotiation position. Because they'll say, you want it out of Toronto anyway, here's your extension. Otherwise, we're not trading for you.
You got to undersell how much you like the city. You got
oversell. Oversell.
No.
Undersell.
No. Sorry. Oversell how much you like Toronto.
Yeah.
Undersell how much you like the place you're going.
Yes.
Because you have to accept that place. Oh, it's
not Toronto.
Know. But this place, I don't know. And you gotta like undersell like how much you even like hockey. Like, I can play that. Oh, I don't know. I guess. Okay, what if we gave you $12 million? Wink. Well, I guess I could.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you got that for 8 years.
You have to understand that for Mitch's agent to do his job, he has to say that A, Mitch doesn't want to leave.
To do his job.
B, that he wants to play out the year, and C, he's going to UFA next year. All of these factors push up Mitch's price. So it gives the acquiring team, if there is one, the notice that, hey, he didn't want to leave anyway, and you better bring your best number. Otherwise, he's not going to accept it. If he says, I want out, the number will be less. And that is the key here. So when you see these reports, and I'm seeing Leaf fans reacting viscerally to this, and I understand why, you're not wrong. But this agent loves to play out negotiations in public. We've seen him do it with other players before, but Mitch is the most famous one to us because it happened here. I want you to understand that. Look at it through this lens. Now, does that mean he's getting traded? I actually think that it's like a home run. He's getting moved. The Toronto Maple Leafs,
I think it's a ground rule double.
The Toronto Maple Leafs cannot let this player start next year on this team and allow him to play out the UFA year in Toronto for two reasons. Hold on.
Sure,
for two
go ahead,
reasons.
go ahead,
Number one, it hasn't worked. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
But what if it works next year?
No, it doesn't work.
We've had all of us for the last half decade.
2 head coaches, 8 years, doesn't work. So that's number one. Number two, and this is the more important situation, is that you had the opportunity to move on from this player last spring without a no-trade clause. The general manager that you fired when he suggested it is now in Pittsburgh. And
they kept the guy who made that decision.
If you allow this to happen and play out, it will be a distraction for the team, and it will lead to, and you're already on shaky ground, and I'm talking about Brendan Shanahan here, you're already on shaky ground. If that is the story going into training camp, if that is the story in October, November, December, goodbye, Brendan Shanahan. Keith Pelly's not going to have it. He's not going to have it. And by the way, as a Leaf fan, neither are you. And I think it's really important that we look at that through that. So this is what you're hearing in the press right now, and this is where it gets exciting and dramatic and trades, and we all love this, is jockeying by team and jockeying by player and player agent, right?
Well,
and they want you to react. Darren Ferris they want you to react to this.
So
they want you to get mad.
Who wants a reaction?
Well, I think they want the Marner camp wants as much attention on this as they can, so that other teams will pay attention and go, maybe we should get him.
Man, it's just weird. It's like I thought the Toronto media was like toxic and like making stuff up.
I don't think they're making anything up here.
Oh, but I thought they were like that's what they do, like for the clicks. It's all about the clicks. This isn't like, they're giving all this attention. No. The Marner camp's getting exactly what they want. If the Toronto media really are sharks, the Darren Ferris, Marner's agent, is chumming the water.
Well, sure. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. I don't think anybody's worried about the media right now. I don't know why you're worried about it.
No, it's just people always go, yeah, and they just carte blanche the dumbest shit ever, that even though it doesn't make any sense. Guys, please pay attention. Please be media literate. This is what's happening. I'm sorry.
So here's what's interesting, and this is where I wanted to bring you guys in on this one. I wanted to get that out of the way. The more interesting part of this is Treliving directly quoted on it. It's from Pierre LeBrun. Treliving and Marner's agent, Darren Ferris, as one would expect, met Tuesday. So they did meet yesterday. So the claims that they haven't met are a little bit old. Treliving says, the thing I would say is be very, very careful of what you read out there. Mitch is a hell of a player. He's going into the last year of his contract. We're not going to comment on any players. Any business that we conduct will do between Darren Ferris and us. We're not going to play by play on it. We've got to look at every possible way for our team to get better. Mitch controls a whole lot of this thing with his no trade clause. There's a lot that if there's a way to make our team better, we're going to do it. But we're certainly not going to make a trade just so we can pound our chest and say we look different.
And that's him holding on to his leverage, which is, well, we don't have to make this trade.
So I wanted to know, with all of that said, Jesse and Steve, with cooler, calmer heads, what do we think? What do you think? How do you feel?
I have zero appetite in ever doing this again. We lived through the first Marner negotiation. Nope, that's enough. Take care.
What made it different than the Nylander negotiation for you? Because Nylander held out longer.
Yeah, no, that sucked ass and was annoying, and I hated it. And then Willie signed for $6.9 million, which we all thought was like Kyle Dubas should be friggin' arrested. And then Marner signed for like in the neighborhood of 75% more, and we acted like it was the same thing. And it very extraordinarily wasn't.
Now, they were coming off different seasons. Willie's in the mid-60s, Marner in the mid-90s.
Yeah,
points.
Fair enough. You know, it was very different. The way it played out in the media, to me, was exhausting. I think part of that is Darren Ferris's theatrics. I think another part of that, though, is it was the second one. We had just gotten through Willie. It was less than a year after. If I'm not mistaken, didn't it work out where it was Willie?
It was Tavares, Willie one summer, and then Marner the next.
Oh, like, give me a break.
So is that fair to Mitch?
No.
And then there was the Paul Marner stuff. Way to go, Paul. That whole thing that went out online. And I don't even remember where that came from. But I will say that
I got to do a retrospective.
The thing I do want to say is that there's no question that the way that Louis Gross handled it, which was mostly behind the scenes, people did vilify Michael Nylander, William's dad,
and Willie. It took him years to shed that reputation.
And then Marner comes, but it seemed like that negotiation was not just more contentious, but that the Nylander negotiation plus the pressures of the Marner thing going 2 days into camp is when he signed, or 2 days before camp is when he signed.
Yeah.
It felt to me, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, that Dubas said, you know what, screw it. We'll figure it out.
I think it was Mitch. I want to get this done. That's enough. That was the impression I got at the time.
Really?
This is why, like I said, like I wish, under this assumption, right? Because I don't know that this is true, but under this assumption, like I wish that kid would stick up for himself. I do.
Who?
To the people around him. I think he's got this attack dog. Darren Ferris doesn't last long with a lot of guys. And when he does, it often doesn't go well. Like I got his Puckpedia in front of me. Mitch Marner. Out of the park, home run, got him all the money in the world, ruined his reputation, but got him all the money in the world. He's got Nazem Kadri. I don't know if that was his agent when Kadri signed that deal. Trade rumors. Interesting. Taylor Hall. Woof!
That was bad.
Yep.
He turned down $64 million.
Josh Anderson. Woof!
Well, I think that was actually a good deal for Josh in retrospect.
Yeah, but, Josh is going to sit out. And, oh yeah. The comments are going to be full of people from different fan bases going, oh, I didn't know that was his agent.
So that was the Columbus negotiation where he ended up
trade rumors, and my guy's going to get his, and I'm going to give him a contract that, who wants Josh Anderson on their team? Who wants him on their team right now? Okay. Sam Bennett, really good deal. Got him traded, but extremely good deal.
They got him into a better position. To be
he
honest,
might be on the ice when Bennett and Rodriguez win the cup, because Rodriguez is also his client. Andreas Athanasiou. There's another guy. He's always in rumors and holdouts, and he's too expensive and blah, blah, blah. Morgan Frost is always in rumors. He's around a lot of guys. They're always surrounded by rumors. Isn't that weird? I wonder why that happens. Do you think people are picking on him? Or do you think he's leakier than a friggin' sieve? I don't know. It could be one, could be the other. Who's to say?
Jesse? With all this conversation, I'd like to know where you're at, just how you're breaking this down in your mind.
I don't think the Leafs can go forward with the currently constructed trio that they have in Marner and Willie and
No,
four,
sure they
four,
can.
four.
Sure they
Like I don't think I think there's a lot of people trying to jump around to like, oh, it's going to be difficult to Mitch, so just keep him and find a way to do that. I think we see enough evidence that you can't do that. So I don't think we should relitigate that. I think you still should move him for the sake of the team because we know it doesn't work.
I tell you what. No, let's be nice. Let's be nice to him. He deserves people being nice to him. So we're going to keep him at home. Good boy. We're going to keep him at home. Good boy. What team does Austin Matthews play for next year?
Toronto Maple Leafs.
No, we got to get rid of one of them. And we're not going to get rid of our sweet little boy. So where's Austin going to play next year?
Well, Austin's not going anywhere, Steve.
Oh, you know what? They probably shouldn't. All right. Where's Willie going?
Well, they just signed him to an 8-year
Yeah,
extension.
you can't really move.
Can't
him.
trade him. He's got it.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, where's John going?
No trade.
No, yeah.
Well, Marner has a no trade as well.
Oh, it's almost like a year ago, we were absolutely correct. The obvious choice was to not fire your general manager 5 weeks before the draft and 6 weeks before his no trade kicks in. Where's Morgan playing next year?
Well, so hang on a second. The Leafs could have last summer traded either Mitch or Willie. That was the rumor before Dubas was fired, is one of those two guys was going to go.
And they didn't. If I had wheels, it'd be a wagon. Where's Morgan playing? Where's he going? What do they get for him? Guys, one of them has to go. It's not even about him personally. Like, I tell you what, if he signs an extension, fine. Do it quick and shut the fuck up about it. I hate this guy's agent. I really do. I can't stomach this any longer. I don't know why he wants this. You know what I mean? Get it done. Get it. Whatever decision you come to, get it done. That's it. That's all it is. Do you want this dragging out all summer? Do you think it's going to increase his popularity and marketability? Winning increases it. You know how Willie shed all this bullshit?
He scored a bunch.
Scored all the goals and was routinely their best goal scorer in the playoffs, or one of their better players.
Has been.
And scoring in elimination games. There was at least one elimination game. There were 2 elimination games where Willie had the only goal. The 3-1 loss to Montreal. I think it was 3-1 in game 7. He had the only goal. Lol. And the 2-1 loss to Boston in game 7 this past year. Lol.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and overtime, even your most relentless uncle was like, Uncle, you know
All right,
what?
fine, he's good.
All right, fine, he's good. Go ask any Leaf fan on any GO train, bus stop, Maple Leaf Square, forget what they think about this kid. Go to any high school, you get a different answer. But go ask any older Leaf fan. You know, maybe it's a generational thing. I don't know. I don't know. We can't do this again. Answer the question honestly. Where does John play next year? Where does Austin play next year?
I think John,
where does Willie play
John
next
is
year?
going to stay.
Where does Morgan play? I can't do the song and dance anymore. You're either running it back again like a psychopath, or you're trading this player. That's the long and short of it.
And that's why I'm saying don't overreact to these reports if you can help it. Because I know it's like the thought of it. Listen to it coming out in Steve, right?
Oh, I know. Yeah, well, it's starting low and it's building. I'm not doing this again.
I don't think that either side. I think the Marner camp are smart enough to understand that position.
I don't think they are.
I 100% know they are.
No.
And I think that the Leafs are smart enough to also know they can't go forward with this. You can't go forward with this. You know it doesn't work, and you're also this player's stock will drop to 0 in this market. And frankly, he'll have some ownership of it, but it will be more a function of a poor decision made in spring 2023. And I think you have to put the responsibility on the Toronto Maple Leafs on this one. You do. They offered the contract, they signed the contract, they allowed the behavior, they let the team keep coming back year after year after playoff failure with no recourse. No threat of trade, no threat of anything. And then when they finally said, you know what? This isn't working. They fired the guy who said it out loud.
Yep.
And
then the next year they repeated it.
So when you are directing your anger and your frustration, I get that you don't love where the agent. I get not loving the agent doing this through the press, but remember, the team we all cheer for is ultimately responsible here. And
profoundly stupid hockey team. But I mean, look at the results.
Yeah.
What, do you think they were good at this? Obviously not. No, keep them. Keep them.
I don't.
Another
think
year of
will.
this shit.
I don't think
it's okay.
I don't think they will.
No, but you know what? Maybe this time it works.
Man, I hope it does. That'd be great. Wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it be like actual Stanley Cup here instead of Sim Stanley Cup? That'd be great.
Maybe we can wait a calendar year to see if it works out.
I'm
not doing it again.
Please.
I want to read from James Myrtle in The Athletic on September.
Never heard of him.
13th.
Hiss.
September 13th, 2019, the day Mitch Marner signed.
Sorry, you mean Canucks fan Myrtle? Okay, sure.
What
I
is
guess.
that? Is that a reference?
He's from Kamloops.
He's a Leaf fan or a Canuck fan, depends on who
hates him at that
who
moment.
hates him and is tweeting at him.
I think it's fun to go back and read this little piece that he wrote in The Athletic and see how it played out.
Is that the word? Yeah.
Fun?
Fun?
Yes.
Is it fun?
I am having fun.
We're about to have
podcasting
fun?
with my friends.
I can't wait.
Their front office staff are feeling defeated, done in by another frustrating negotiation that went on too long and ultimately didn't go their way. For all that, they kept Mitch Marner through his prime in age 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 seasons on a 6-year contract for $10.893 million. It was more than the Leafs' 6-year $10.5 olive branch that had languished on the negotiating table for months, but not outrageously so. They moved even higher than what was, based on Marner's comparables, around the league, an overpay in order to get the deal done before the sideshow hit the regular season. Once that happened, once they got to October 2nd without a deal, getting something long-term signed would have been nearly impossible. It really, how does the fan base feel? It depends on how badly you want to keep the player. There's no question that with Austin, JT, Marner, and Willie making up $40.5 million, or almost exactly 50% of the cap, that Toronto will be very limited in what they can do this season in terms of further player movement. And then he continued, and I'll end with this. Getting a second contract with a cap hit north of $10 million used to be, well, not possible. Only Connor McDavid and Matthews had done it previously. It remains to be seen if this becomes part of the new norm around the NHL, or if the Leafs are outliers in paying this much this soon to their kids. And I think it kind of played out as they paid a little too much to their kids, and nobody else really followed suit.
No, let's do it again. No, that's fine. Let's do it again.
That was 4 years ago.
That was 4. Yeah, I was just going to ask, what date was that?
September 13th, 2019, the day Mitch Marner signed his second contract.
Almost 5 years ago.
Yeah. 5 years ago.
Wow,
September,
Jesse,
yeah.
that he's like Nostradamus. Like, that's crazy. How did he? That is reading the future.
It was
because it was fucking obvious.
It was so the article. It's a balance of the dichotomy of which way this could go. Mitch Marner was coming off of a 94-point season at the age of 22.
Which, if you round up, is 100. Chronic 100-point scorer Mitch Marner, who's never done it.
Yeah. So there was that the angel and devil on your shoulder. You want to give this kid who's 22, who you think is only going to get better, you're going to lock him up for $11 million because the cap's going to go up. It's going to be worth it. He's going to score 100 points every single year. Or you give this kid all this money and you lock up all your cap space so you can't do anything else with your roster. And who knows, he needs to perform at a certain level to outperform what you would have been able to sign for the millions of dollars that come into play. And seeing now how it played out, I wonder if there's regrets in Kyle Dubas's mind about giving out this deal.
He's like, why? Rich.
Why?
He's my captain.
He got like $50 million to get a promotion in Pittsburgh. There's no justice or hockey god. There is no hockey god.
The regrets in Kyle Dubas's mind. I should point it as the regrets in Leafs fans' minds about how this all played out. And maybe if there was, in some other scenario, a bridge deal to be done, an $8 million 3-year deal, something like that would have been a lot more comfy for Mitch Marner. And seeing where they are right now, I hope they don't make the mistake again and try and lock up all of these guys once again to a whole boatload of money. And that's kind of where I'm sitting at right now.
I think you meant 3 year, $8 million.
What
you
did
said
I say?
8 year, $3 million.
Oh, sorry.
Yo, I would have been. Keep him. Keep
Sorry,
him.
if it was like 3
Leave
years
for life.
Not even 8, like 9. 3 year, $9 million for Mitch, and you would have been able to figure things out. Hopefully, a little better in that situation. I just hope Brad Treliving does not make the same mistake that the Leafs have made in the past and lock up all of these guys to massive deals. Because on the open market, Mitch Marner commands $12 million, and if you're gonna negotiate with him now, it's gonna be somewhere in that neighborhood, and you can't do that. So you have to move on.
I will say this. At the time, it wasn't super duper obvious that it was a horrible contract. It seemed like it, but there were a bunch of peers who were like, all right, let's see what their number comes in at. And then Mikko Rantanen signs, and we all went, oh, shit, okay. And then Charlie McAvoy signs, and we go, oh, okay. How about Cale Oh, my God, Jesus.
The Leafs.
And then every contract of a list of players who are probably better.
You know what got me? Kucherov.
The Leafs
That deal kills me. That deal freaking kills me.
Thought they were setting the market with Mitch Marner in that contract. And what turned out to be the case is that he still sits as the 12th highest paid player in the National Hockey League to this day. And it's not comparable with his peers who have signed deals after that for much lower. So it's
Jonathan Huberdeau being an outlier on that one, by the way. And I know people are going to look at that list that you're putting up there and be like, oh, but Huberdeau. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that you're going to compare Marner to what has been an absolute fucking disaster in Calgary. What are we talking about?
He's a big part of the reason they sign all these extensions a year out is, we can't let him walk to UFA. Yes. Also that, but you can't sign a player after they're coming off a redonkulous season. Huberdeau was like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, that contract sucks or whatever. Dude, he's coming off 115 points. Yeah, we're going to give you 6 or 7. Under what?
And you just traded for him, too.
Yeah, under...
You traded a franchise player for him.
You want me real, real bad. And I'm coming off like one of the greatest seasons from a left winger ever.
Yeah. By the way, and I don't place a lot of... I place some of what's happened in Calgary at Huberdeau's feet. More of it at Calgary is the worst managed team outside of the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're a terribly managed team. They were a terribly coached team. I'd love to see what Huberdeau looks like elsewhere, but that contract's too big to move.
Yeah, well, and this is also the time of year where you look at like your full season stats, and Huberdeau's are not good. But if you look at after a certain date, I think he was on a line with Sharangovich and I don't remember who else. They were point of game players.
He had a good back half of this.
Yeah, there you go.
That's for sure.
Yeah, so and if you're Calgary, you hope next season is a lot more like that than the front half. Anyway, one of them's got to go. I don't care who it is. I don't want to do this all summer.
No.
One of you beat it.
I look at just the last thing on the deal, his current deal, not the next one. Just don't make the same mistake. You look at the signing date and the people who've signed after Mitch Marner. It's a list of the best players in the National Hockey League who are making less than him and signed after.
Name them.
I can just go down the list.
Go down the list.
Some guys named Eichel and Aho and Point and McAvoy and Kachuk and Kucherov and Adam Fox and like Mikko Rantanen. Like it's Roman Josi, even Hale McCarr. Kirill Kaprizov. We would take Leon Draisaitl, which was signed before. That's 2017.
That one
doesn't count.
It seemed like an overpay at the time.
And everybody was like, are you freaking nuts? No, it was a great trade.
No, it seemed like an overpay at the time. It's like one of the greatest contracts in NHL.
That's why I have the signing date up there too, just for comparables. But you would take a lot of these guys plus the extra cap space over Mitch Marner any day of the week.
I think the biggest...
Guys,
here's the problem for me. The biggest indictment on that contract is that if you were to ask, I don't think you can make the argument that he's worth much more now than what he's getting paid. If, the number that's been thrown out there.
Oh, absolutely.
The number that's being thrown out there right now is like, it would be like $12 million to get it done. And I'm trying to figure out who gives that to him. I look at some of the numbers that were being thrown around when the RFA negotiations were happening, when his people were putting out there that he was going to go to the Zurich Lions, and the Zurich Lions tweeted about it. They were very funny. And that the Columbus was going to offer him $13 and $14 million.
Yeah,
which
Columbus.
Apparently they did.
They did. Yes.
Not to be a dick, it's Columbus.
Yeah.
They have to overpay.
Yes.
They've always had to do that.
And so my question is, when you name all those players, Jesse, Eichel, Rantanen are some of the names that come up. Yes, they signed in a more of a flat cap environment, but are they, is comparably speaking, is Mitch worth much more than the 10.9 that he's making?
I think we're wrong if we don't assume that somebody out there would give Mitch 12.5. That I think 100% is Utah exists.
But that's not that much, right? You understand that those guys, when a lot of those guys signed their contracts, they went from $5 and $6 million to $10 million. We're talking about a player that went from 900,000
entry level
to 10.9 million and might jump to 12.
Yeah, no,
that's not a big.
The second contract, doing that for a 22-year-old was ridiculous every day of the week.
So
I can't.
So this is
I can't.
So this is where it all comes back to this, guys, and this is why people have even been asking the CJ show, like, has anyone ever raised? Adam says that people have actually waived their no trade clause. Is that true? Yeah, of course they have. They've waived their no move clause. How would you do it? Like, of course,
you just got to act like you don't want to.
You got to act like you don't want to. Let them act like you don't want to. Don't react too much to it. I know you're a fan. I get it. Me too. And it's frustrating. But remember that what you're seeing is this is an agent that is angling for the best price for his client, which is his job, and a team that is angling for the best price for the team, which is their job.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I am 100%, 1,000% sure that this team is two things. One, going to trade him. Two,
without Zach Hines.
He enters training camp with literally like Matt Duchene levels of anger. And I'm talking Matt Duchene. You remember that picture of Matt Duchene with the Colorado Avalanche?
Yes, it's hilarious.
Like, you can't let this player get to training camp like this. You can't do it. And so it's either that or Shanny loses his job. It's one of the two. It can't. That would be the biggest distraction, and what a disservice that would be to Austin Matthews and the career he's putting together. You can't do it. Era's over. Move on. Both sides. They have to figure that out in the next 5 weeks.
No appetite for this.
Let's do the press conference. I like that.
Steve Dangle press conference. First question, if you give me a second to bring it up here. First question, Steve, why did you hate my roster? Why are you so mean to my roster that won the Stanley Cup?
Because in real life it would be but the game is not in real life. I did appreciate Kasperi Kapanen getting a breakaway and then like just firing a muffin into their pads. I was like, it brings me back.
It was a Connor Brown level breakaway. This comes from Tree Caesar on our Discord. Rumors are that Mitch Marner will
this is gonna be my new Coyotes bit. I'm gonna start walking off.
Actually, but you can't do that.
I know.
It's the Leafs. You can't.
Rumors are that Mitch Marner will play next year, potentially no re-signing on July 1st. If the Leafs don't want him to play and don't want his salary affecting the salary cap, can the Leafs send Marner down to the Marlies, or will that not work and keep his salary off the cap?
So he doesn't just have a no trade clause, he has a no move clause. So my understanding is they can't waive him, they can't send him down, they can't nothing. You tell a player who needs to, like, listen, this is one of those ones where you're going to have to, what's the saying? Cut off your nose to spite your face.
We don't want you here.
Sit, and don't come around the team. Don't be in the press box.
And they won't do that, by the way. They'll never do that.
Stay home. Well, then they'll never succeed.
Yeah, but that's not the way this administration has worked, right? And I agree with you. I think you have to be heartless here. At some point, it would be nice if the team did right by the team instead of doing right by the player.
Yeah,
by the way, the
What?
team did right by this player. The team did very right by this player. This team, whatever Babs,
and if they haven't, then go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
CJ said it best when asked about it, Jesse, on the press conference. What CJ said was, listen, if a team says they don't want you, how bad do you want to play for them?
I know, dude.
So yeah.
No, like home.
Everybody knows which way the wind's blowing here. Come on.
Home is where home is. You know, like I'm not leaving the greater Toronto area for like any amount of money. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? And that's just the way I am. And, you know, maybe he's like that. And I can
You have a
sympathize
price, and it would
with-
be lower than Mitch's. I'll put it that way.
Well, guaranteed. But like, well, I also, it's easy for me to say because like, no one from NHL networks like, Steve, you want $1 million to move to New York? And I'll crash with John Boy and it'll be super cool and everything. But dude, get out of here. Listen, giving a player a no move clause and then moving heaven and earth to kick him out is a dick move.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the real world. It's like, unfortunately, the Leafs are not the first team to do this. They will certainly not be the last. Players have been on the other end of it too, where they're like, well, if you don't give me this, then I'm just... And you tell this player, you are not welcome at the arena. You are not welcome in the press box. Sit at home, and we'll see how much you get in free agency after putting zeros up across the board.
Adam, because I know you forgot, we have to throw to our interview with Courtney.
Oh, yes! Yes! Let's go!
So this year, once again for Pride Month, we are going to be participating in a virtual 5K. If you remember last year, if you were around last June, we did our virtual 5K and released the video on YouTube. Steve tried to kayak.
On the windiest day in the world.
He got to about the first cut of water and then immediately tipped over. I ran in all hockey gear, and Adam filmed a little beach skit. Baywatch
in my New Jersey pajamas. Thank you very much.
Skit in his pajamas. It's something to watch. It's something to behold. So in the description of this podcast, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube, you will find the link to our team where you can make a donation, which will go to the Get Real movement. You'll learn all about the Get Real movement in the interview that's coming up, and also go to Rainbow Railroad, who you'll also learn about in the interview. So we're trying to raise $3K. That's our goal this season. Last year we blew it out of the water, but once again we'll set it at $3K, and hopefully you guys can push way past that. The money's going to a great cause for Pride Month. And Adam, do you have anything to say about Courtney coming up?
Well, I'm excited to talk to her because Courtney's got a lot of information on this. She'll explain a little bit more, and you're going to learn a little bit about her athletic career too, which is surprising.
Yes, it will be a much more upbeat discussion than the one we just had.
It's Pride Month on SDP, and we love working with the Get Real movement. So from the Get Real movement, it's Courtney Allain. Thank you so much for being here.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, we were just talking off camera that you, am I allowed to say this? That Steve was trying to talk you out of having potentially a second child?
What? Hey, you told me to try to talk her out of it.
I think they set you up there.
Yeah, I set you up.
And I didn't. I just said don't do it before the playoffs.
Yeah. But the real reason is the Rainbow Road Virtual 5K. We've worked with you for years on the Virtual 5K, and that's something that came out of the pandemic. But tell us about the event this year and how people can get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 5K, the virtual 5K, it is an event that we do every year to raise funds, not just for us, but also for a partner organization we work with called Rainbow Railroad. And so we do this every year to raise funds for both organizations. It's 50-50. It's actually a really cool event. You get to walk, run, roll, stroll, swim, however you want to
rollerblade, yeah,
rollerblade.
Yep.
I think we
kayak.
had kayak.
Yeah, we did the kayak with Steve.
Yeah.
Varying degrees of success.
I thought that was a really great display.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Now, let's talk about the Get Real movement, and we'll talk about Rainbow Road as well. But let's start with the Get Real movement because you're the one that we're most acquainted with. For anybody that doesn't know, what does the Get Real movement do?
Yeah. So we get to work in schools, summer camps, businesses all across the country to combat 2S LGBTQ plus discrimination.
Sorry.
That's okay. That was a really great video.
Oh, okay. At least it was a good video.
I was bringing it up for after. Yeah.
But we work to combat 2S LGBTQ plus discrimination and racism and bullying and all of those spaces. We do a lot of that through what I like to think of as like our bread and butter, which is our workshops. And so, yeah, we do workshops with kids as young as grade 4 right up to grade 12. And then we do adult workshops for caregivers and parents and staff, teachers. And then, of course, with our corporate partners and different businesses. So, yeah, we speak.
So you're physically on the ground in the schools,
Yeah.
talking to people.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's like the best way to do it. We also do virtual workshops, but and they're both great too, but there is something really special about being in the school and speaking with the young folks and sharing, just like, because a big part of what we do is like sharing our stories, and then the information and how to be an ally. And then after the workshop, there's always like a couple minutes where students will come up and say like thank you, or just share even personal journeys too, and how us being there that day really helped them, and what they want to do in the future in terms of like their own identity and sexuality, and combating racism in these spaces. And it's just really special. Sometimes some tearjerker moments for sure.
I bet. I bet. You know, one of our Jessie and I worked with her, good friend of ours. Her name is Jax, was my co-host on Virgin Radio, and she always used to say that had she had anybody on television other than Ellen one time on that sitcom she was on, come out as gay, she's like, it would have been so much more helpful, right? Because there's just nobody to look up to. What do you think it does for kids that are in that stage of discovery and questioning and that sort of thing when you guys go into these schools?
Oh gosh, it is like, we can't stress the importance of representation enough. Like, I could even just speak from my personal experience. If I had had that representation as a young person, who was questioning my own sexuality, if I had seen other people who were out and like sharing like positive things too, because like I knew about people in the queer community, but a lot of it was centered around like sadness, trauma, that kind of stuff. So it really kept me from even exploring that side of me. And so if I had that experience and had that representation, I know that would have like definitely brought me to my journey a lot quicker. And that's what we hear from the students too, is just like how seeing us living our lives, you know, being happy. Of course, like life happens, but living our lives gives them the hope that they can too, and gives them the courage to like even share that with other people and come out, or, you know, just embrace that side of them. We really like to talk about like queer joy too, and just the importance of that as well. And so
go ahead, Jess.
I was gonna say, one of the coolest campaigns I think that we've had the privilege of working on recently was the Rarest Rookie Card, which I think speaks to what we're talking about here. Is where if somebody, because sports we know the culture of sports, and having that campaign that you guys did, where you have this card that's anonymous for the first person to come out and play professional hockey, and I feel like if people could see that, there'd be more of them. So I thought that was just such a brilliant campaign you guys had.
Yeah, it was really cool. So this really just came out of exactly that, like recognizing that in the 107-year history of the NHL, there hasn't been an openly out player. And that representation, or that lack of representation, it says a lot, right? And so I think April 13th was like National Hockey Card Day.
Yes.
So we had this campaign, and that's where this came out, just to create this card that was reserved for that first player that decided that they could come out, and just creating that culture. And our hope is that like with this campaign that we can, help support and help create that culture of inclusivity within sport, within hockey. And maybe some days soon there'll be someone to put on here, because it is actually an empty card. Can I show the
camera? No, the camera can see it, because the idea is, hey, you are out there, here is your spot.
Yes.
You know, it is open for you. We're going to accept it. It's right here waiting for whenever you are comfortable to take it.
Exactly. And along with that card, we actually, so Get Real, we've been doing some more workshops specifically for sports leagues. So we've got a sports and recreation workshop. So this is another like adult workshop, but it's also like it's for any level. So we're talking about like recreational, professional, anywhere in between, anybody, because there's like, I was an athlete too. I played rugby growing up, and I can tell you there was, you know, in some ways it was progressive, it was inclusive, but in a lot of ways it really wasn't.
Courtney's downplaying her rugby career. She spent 4 years at Brock playing rugby.
Come on.
She's a university level athlete. Like, that's a very high level of competition.
She's talking like her rugby career was mine.
You played in like elementary school.
Yeah, I was like a bench player. You're at university. That's
played at Brock. Like, that's very high level.
It's been a while.
The last thing I do want to ask you about here, Courtney, is Rainbow Railroad. What do we need to know?
So Rainbow, the 5K? Yeah. So definitely, we'd love for folks to get involved. This is a fundraiser. So definitely, I know you all have put in a team. So what we'd love to do is just like, you know, push that and like get involved, donate if you can. And on June 28th, everybody can get outside, run, walk. I know you guys will be doing it, right? So walk, run, stroll, however you want to move that day for 5K. Take lots of pictures.
Should we do our flashback to last year?
Yes, please.
And how this went with Steve.
It went great.
Oh man.
Steve tried to kayak for his part of the 5K.
The windiest day ever.
And he got nowhere.
Yeah.
He got stuck in the sand.
Not a boat in the water. Just a bunch of parasailers and that's it. Come on, buddy, you can do it.
We can confidently say you didn't make 5K.
He also didn't put the plug in the thing. It stunk.
Yeah.
Like
no, I lost it.
You
Oh
lost
my
the plug.
gosh.
I lost my.
Incredible.
And that was the day Adam also lost his wedding.
Yeah, I did lose my wedding ring that day.
No.
That's okay. I didn't lose the marriage, so that's good.
Yes.
Not this time. Not this time. I'm pretty sure I lost it on that. Anyway, stupid video. Anyway,
Oh no, you don't want to, Maddie, pull this up.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. Get in there.
Oh, that's great.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's hot.
Did you put the Baywatch music behind
I
it?
hope so.
Yeah, there's some music
I don't think I could bring
playing.
myself to watch this. I kind of tried to put it out of my mind. So listen, if you want to get involved, sign up, sponsor, fundraise, whatever it is you want to do, you can check the link in the description for the Rainbow Road Virtual 5K Get Reel's national fundraiser going on now, June 2024, because it's Pride Month. And Courtney, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.